which have been strong for the longest time, to move from G to G discussions to trade and investment flows into the country. And inshallah, this in turn, apart from many other things that we are doing with respect to the structural reforms, the improved trade and investment flows, which we expect in the coming months, should help us in terms of moving across to a sustainable growth path. Now, coming to the blue economy, as you all know, I guess we have a pretty modest starting point, right? Because we are hovering at about 0.4 to 0.5% of the national GDP, which equates to roughly $1 billion. Now, the way we have our ambition of how we are going to translate our overall economy, inshallah, which is currently, the overall GDP is about $411, $412 billion, and can we move it to a $3 trillion economy by the time Pakistan gets to be 100 in 2047, and can we get to the $3 trillion number, which is the real potential of Pakistan. It's a similar thing, and it's very heartening and encouraging to see that the Ministry of Maritime Affairs has also put a marker in the ground, which is ambitious but very reachable. This $1 billion getting to a $100 billion blue economy number by the time we get to 2047, as said, is transformational, and it's the right ambition that we have set ourselves as we go forward. Now, this is backed by a very clear roadmap, and I'm sure the panelists and the speakers will talk to it during the course of this morning. And as I look at it, the broad pillars which are underlying this roadmap of how we're going to get to $100 billion blue economy are actually quite robust. So starting with achieving excellence in fisheries and aquaculture, and this to happen through value-added processing capabilities, modernizing our cold chain logistic infrastructure and chains, and implementing world-class hygiene standards. So right now, we have, if I look at the export number, which is currently there, around roughly $500 million in terms of our seafood exports. Now, getting it to a $2 billion number, as far as I'm concerned, over the next 3 years, is a very achievable milestone. Now, this in itself being grounded in an overall national fisheries and aquaculture policy, which will extend for the next 10 years through a strategic partnership with the FAO, will continue to guide us as we go forward. And again, as the finance minister, you know, I would like to assure you, and I'm sure the Minister of Maritime Affairs must have also committed this, that we are going to ensure that the policy consistency is there. Whatever we say, we see it through the cycle. So I think that is going to be a very important part of how we are going to take this discussion forward. The next one is the modernization of ports and logistics, and we digitize and upgrade the operations, whether it's Karachi, Qasimpur, and Gwadar. I think are all going to be very, very important in terms of replicating international best practices and really getting the regional trade partnerships to the next level. The next pillar is around the renewable energy, so launching pioneering pilot projects in tidal and offshore wind generation. And the other thing which, obviously is closer to the Ministry of Finance, but to see how we can also go for innovative financing for these projects, whether it's, we have done green bonds in the past, but issuing blue bonds and blending financing mechanisms to fund conservation and sustainable development initiatives. The next one would be marine biotechnology and value chain development, which again represents a very significant opportunity. And finally, it's the regional and the cross-sector collaboration. And all of this, whether it's our engagement through Indian Ocean region and beyond, the research initiatives, the idea is very simple, to take this mainstream and how the blue economy principles get into our national economic transformation agenda, which I previously referred to. So I started by saying that this is a game-changing sector where the potential is huge. And as I said, it's great to see the Ministry of Maritime putting the marker in the ground. It's no different how we are looking at AI and the digital infrastructure and how that is going to, inshallah, propel the economy forward, or our minerals and mining sector, which is again going to be a game changer for Pakistan as we go forward. So at the end, I would like to wish all the delegates and the panelists a very fruitful and constructive discussion during the course of today, and look forward to receiving the feedback at the end of the conference. Once again, I'm very grateful to the organizers for inviting me to this very important maritime conference, and I wish everyone well over the course of next 2 days. Thank you.
पाकिस्तान इंटरनेशनल मैरीटाइम एक्सपो एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस जारी है, जिससे वफाकी वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना मोहम्मद औरंगज़ेब वर्चुअली खिताब कर रहे थे। आपने बराह रास्त मुलाहिज़ा किया।